Hi. The Dodgers' 7-game winning streak comes to an end thanks to Max Muncy's no good, terrible, horrible, very bad day. In addition to that, Michigan basketball coach Juwan Howard says no thank you to a job he wasn't even in the running for. And by this time next week, hey, the Sparks could disappear from the WNBA landscape. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It is May 23rd, 2022. It is an absolutely fantastic morning out there. I want to thank the new subscribers who joined over the last day, man. We're at past 150. And for a channel that's only been out for 3 months, pretty good. I'm very thankful for you guys. If you like the content we've been putting out for the last 3 months, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. Because we put new videos out between 9 and 10 a.m. every day to let you know it's there. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comment. For I am not perfect. I don't mind talking sports with y'all. Now, before we get to the main topic, which is about Max Muncy and what to do with the poor fellow, let's go through the scores, news, and notes from yesterday around LA. Muncy went 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, hit into a double play, and booted an easy ground ball that allowed the winning run to score. The Phillies needed 10 innings, but they did it. Phillies 4, Dodgers 3. Meanwhile, over at Dignity Health Sports Park, Houston 3, Galaxy nothing. Now there's a more detailed review of that game on Rapid Recap, which we did last night. You can find that on my channel. But what I can tell you is we now have updated Kevin Cabral Watch 2022. Yeah, somebody at the Galaxy front office needs to have a chat with someone over this. The Galaxy have 3 millionaires on the roster. Cabral is one of them, who has played 721 minutes and nothing to show for it. No goals, no assists, nada. I don't know what French is for what the... But yeah, somebody needs to get Google Translate and ask him what the... Meanwhile, in today's schedule, the Dodgers will be in Washington. Tyler Anderson and his 4-0 record. The Nats will counter with Juan Adon, who is 1-7. And the Sparks will play Vegas tonight, 7 p.m. Let's get to the notes. Michigan Juwan Howard has declined the Lakers' alleged interest in being the coach, which I found fascinating because from what I've been reading, he wasn't even in the running in the first place. I mean, way back about a couple of months ago, his name was bandied about. But I'm looking now and I'm hearing about the finalists for the job. That's Darvin Ham and Terry Stotts and Kenny Atkinson. But no. In case you were wondering, we don't have to wonder about Juwan Howard. He said no, thank you. Nope, not him. Just pull my name out of the running. I'm not in it for the Lakers gig. I'm happy at Michigan. What? That's like somebody asking, that's like, oh, Donald Trump no longer has interest in the White House. Dude, you haven't been there in 2.5 years. Or how, God knows how. What are we talking about here? Oh no, Juwan Howard's not coming to LA. They've already moved on to the phone. And by the way, the same story I read reaffirmed that Doc Rivers isn't coming either. No kidding. They have it's as if the entire nation has gathered together as one. Not since 9/11 have we been so united over something. Not against COVID, not against racism, not against the Ukrainian invasion. We have all united as one people to tell Bill Plaschke of the LA Times to shut the F up about Doc Rivers being the Lakers coach. Oh, Doc Rivers may be a long shot, but he's not in the running. He's not any shot. He's got about as much shot at getting the Lakers job as any one of us do by being in a Rihanna and Brooklyn Decker sandwich. It's not happening. I hate stupid journalism. I really do. Sorry, guys. Just had to get that out of my system. Speaking of stupid journalism, ESPN is reporting that incoming USC wide receiver Jordan Addison is not getting $3.5 million to play for the Trojans, adding that he came for the football. He could have gotten more money had he gone to another school. The reason I bring this up, some jackweed on Twitter who has a Pittsburgh area sports show named Andrew Filipponi, he was the one who spread the rumor on Twitter. And of course, it must be true because he has a blue check mark next to his name. Next time, could you at least provide some proof somewhere in those 280 characters, blue check mark? Well, I swear to God, you take some fat guy with an alcohol with an alcohol addiction, and you put him in front of a microphone, and you call him Mad Dog or the coach or the sports doctor, and you put him on the air, and he thinks he's right about everything. At least I have an alcohol problem. I have a pot belly. I have a microphone, but at least I'm still smart enough to try to find some proof before I go off and make some stupid accusation like that. By the way, this week we find out if the Sparks are going to be relevant this year. They are 2-4. They have 4 games this week, starting tonight in Vegas. If they lose all 4, they're toast, 2-8. Dodgers notes before we get to the main topic. Blake Trinan has extended his contract through 2023 with a club option for 2024. But the curveball is this. The Dodgers now are not even certain that their best reliever will pitch again this year, which is odd because they originally said, yeah, we just want to give him some rest. And then they said, nah, we'll give him an MRI. And then they said, nah, there's no problem in his shoulder, just needs rest. And now they're saying, yeah, he might not pitch again. What? I think, you ever just feel like people aren't being honest with you? Doesn't that just kind of get under your skin? I wanted to talk tonight this morning about how this was supposed to be Trey Turner's return to Washington, right? The Nationals, they had sent him to LA at the trade deadline last year, along with Max Scherzer. And in return, the Dodgers sent a catcher, 2 pitchers, an outfielder. And, Kelbert Ruiz and Josiah Gray may turn out to be terrific for Washington. But in all honesty, the Dodgers really don't have to worry too much while they're in D.C. The Nats are butt naked last in the NL East at 14-28. They play that bad. It's like their asses are out for everybody to look at. And in D.C., having your wrinkly, gray, pimply, pockmarked ass hanging out, that's a tradition. Joe Biden's ass is out. Nancy Pelosi's ass is out. Madison Cawthorn's ass is out. AOC's ass is out. Everybody's ass is out when you move to Washington. So the Dodgers lost yesterday in Philly. I just wouldn't read anything into it. It took the Phillies extra innings to avoid getting swept, actually. So the Dodgers are okay, even when Max Muncy has a bad day. But it wasn't the bad day that bothered me. It was his reaction that did. He boots the ground ball, and then he stays on his haunches as if he was already starting to dig himself a hole to bury himself in for self-pity. And same for the post-game interview. He laments his day so much that part of me wondered if he was going to start crying, like he was watching the Green Mile and gets hit in the face with a football while REM sings Everybody Hurts in the background. I mean, Sportsnet LA, they put the interview up and they put a thoughts and prayers emoji. Thoughts and prayers. I mean, it's baseball. We're not all heading to a church and lighting a candle over it, right? Some blogger then goes and compares Max Muncy to Bill Buckner, and I think that's a bad idea. Look, Bill Buckner cost his team a World Series. That's why everybody remembers Bill Buckner. Sunday's game is going to be forgotten by everybody by this time tomorrow. Okay? Not cool. But Muncy's confidence is starting to look shot. It's starting to be a legit concern. Last year, he was a fringe MVP candidate, and now he's hitting only 156 with only 3 home runs in 2 months. I think the guy's trying too hard. You know, if he came back from this pretty ugly elbow injury toward the end of last year. Max Muncy's elbow looked like Alex Smith's leg. It was gnarly. And once that happened, the Dodgers' shot at going back-to-back for the title was pretty much dead. And it seems to me that Muncy felt responsible. So he puts in a ton of work to get healthy and to come back on the field. But what do? Because at this juncture, it's not working. Muncy can't move back to first. That's Freddie Freeman's job now. He has it locked down. And oh, by the way, in the dugout, you have a youngster, Edwin Rios, who's looking like a man who deserves more playing time. So what do? Well, Dave Roberts, he's not a perfect man, but he has a lengthy history of trusting his players even in slumps. Ask Cody Bellinger. And I still have friends, I no longer work in journalism, but I have a lot of friends who still cover Major League Baseball, and they would tell you that the players love Dave Roberts because Dave Roberts puts his trust in them, and they give that love right back. They love the guy. So if he's not going to bench Bellinger, and if he's not going to call out Cody Bellinger in the press, he's not going to do that with Max Muncy, which is probably a damn good thing. But he still has to change something. And Roberts has hinted at a couple of things. One option, and I think this might actually be the better of the two for now, but Roberts is going to go with option 2. The one I think is better, designated hitter. Muncy still gets on base an awful lot. He draws a ton of walks. Seems to me what the idea is that you could simplify Muncy's role for a little while he gets his head screwed back on straight. Theoretically, you make Muncy the DH, that's a hole at second base. You move Chris Taylor in from the outfield, and now Edwin Rios gets more playing time in the outfield. Option 2, which seems to be where Roberts is leaning, put him at third. See, Muncy excelled at playing corner infield. He played all over the field, but he excelled as a corner infielder. But first base is off the table. Once again, Freddie Freeman. I say you move Muncy to third as a second option, which is what Roberts is suggesting. And then you take 37-year-old Justin Turner and you have him move to DH. See, that I understand where Roberts is going. Turner's hitting has improved since the start of the year, but he's 37 years old. This is the time where he's got to rest his legs. He's not a young man anymore. Basically, what I'm trying to say to you overall is that instead of overreacting and benching Max Muncy, Roberts has to figure out how to have the man out there, say, 4 or 5 days a week instead of 6 or 7 to get the guy's head screwed back on. You don't bench him. Because if there's one thing we've learned this year, it's that the Dodgers press has a tendency to overreact. But I don't want to overreact. And neither does Dave Roberts. Not over one really bad day. Now, if you like today's broadcast, thank you very much. Like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're trying to build something here. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm James. Faithful Angelenos is a Quian Corta El Queso production. Take care.